I had a call this week with YouTube Corporate, and I'm super excited to share with you guys exactly what I learned from YouTube. We're going to call this one YouTube Shorts 101. These are the cliff notes on my call, from my call with YouTube Corporate. They shared with me a few different things, including some controversial notes that I'm excited to share with you guys today. So basically the first thing that we learned, it's going to start out basic and then it's going to get more and more intense. So the longer you watch this, the more I'm going to give you what I'm learning and testing and what seems to be working, okay? We learned what the mission is with YouTube Shorts directly from YouTube Corporate, and I'm super curious. Have you thought about using YouTube Shorts? Comment below. Number one, if you've thought about using YouTube Shorts, and number two, if you just like watching them, because I think both are awesome. So here's the mission directly from YouTube. Expand the opportunity for existing community through bite-sized storytelling. Kind of fantastic. Now, there are a few things that are really interesting. And like I said, we're going to ramp up in intensity here. So it's going to keep getting more intense as I break down my cliff notes. But the first thing that they really said was that you can either create your YouTube Shorts on your existing YouTube channel, and it shouldn't have any issues on your actual channel, or you can create a brand new channel for it. Either one works as long as you have access to YouTube Shorts on the new channel. Now, the big thing that YouTube is doing, they really want people to create YouTube Shorts. I like to pay attention to when platforms say that they really want a certain type of content, and I'm always gonna try it. Anytime that a platform appears like they really need some content, I know that there's a potential for an early adopter advantage, or they're gonna reward you because they want people to use that functionality. So the first thing you need to know is there's called a Shorts Fund. That kind of made me laugh, but Shorts Fund is $100 million. And basically every single month, they're gonna identify the top content from all of YouTube Shorts and then pay those creators, and there's no set amount. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Snapchat, which I think is really fascinating. But I will say, in order to rank for this, you're playing against some of the really big YouTube players. It doesn't seem like it's going to be broken down by vertical. So I know if you're anything like me, my content sometimes does well, but it's not usually the most viral content. So I'm not going to be actively banking on the Shorts Fund paying for anything, including shorts. Ah, that was a mom joke. Okay. But let's keep on going. Now, here's a really, really interesting thing. I asked a ton of questions. Their basic overview was a lot of, it depends, test things, try things, we don't know yet, it's going to be different for each person. And because that was coming up so much, I was starting to realize, oh shoot, this is like a lot of other social media platforms where they don't really know what's working yet. They can't quite figure out the patterns. And I will say, I love YouTube so much, but a part of YouTube Shorts is actually a secondhand culture from TikTok. Once again, every single social media platform is taking the notes from TikTok and trying to create an entire playbook. But because it's all secondhand, it seems like no one has really thrived with reinventing what short form video content is going to look like. So it's kind of interesting to see how they're all trying to make this work. Now, I asked a few questions. I asked questions about copyright strikes and what to do with copyrighted music or copywritten music, whatever, however you say that. They said, now, I'm going to put a huge asterisk here, so please do not take this out of context. According to YouTube Corporate, they said that they are allowing content to slide even if it breaks the copyright's current regulations. Now, I can't even believe that I'm repeating that because I was like, that does not sound right to me. Seeing the issues that both Instagram and TikTok have had with copyright and licensing, there have been a lot of issues with that. And so I asked to reiterate it. I said, I want to make this super, super clear. Uploading YouTube Shorts that have copyrighted music, it will not create a copyright strike for the creator or the uploader, right? And they said, it will not create a copyright strike. You might see on your shorts that the copyright is flagged, but it's not a copyright strike. Now, I said there's an asterisk on this because if you know anything about YouTube, copyright strikes are really kind of scary and it can affect a lot of things, including views and revenue and even potentially losing your channel. And that made me really nervous. So even though directly from YouTube, they're saying that you may get a copyright flag, but you won't get a copyright strike, there are two things that come to mind for me. So number one, my first big thought, and let me know, by the way, what you think about that, because that does not sound right to me. Number one, I always think, okay, is this person the CEO of this company or is this person an employee? And if they're an employee, I recognize that they don't usually have the power to reverse something. So if I were to, like, let's say, lose my account because of copyright issues from shorts, I couldn't say like, but Sarah said it was fine. It's not going to really hold any power. So I like to keep that in mind when I get advice from employees of any company. But the second big thing that makes me really nervous is just like with any other platform, all it takes is one employee pressing the wrong button to suddenly create a ripple effect that could be really dangerous for a lot of people. So imagine what if suddenly there's a button that literally says, add copyright strikes to copywritten YouTube shorts. And so instead of just getting a couple or one, you have 30 copyrighted or copywritten music tracks in your YouTube shorts. And all of a sudden you have multiple strikes and you lose your whole channel. And those two things alone make me nervous. So I'm only going to be sharing my original audio with my own voice, or I'm going to go to artlist.io and buy tracks before I upload them into my YouTube shorts. So that's a big thing. They also said if your content isn't working, try something different. There are no set rules. I asked, does frequency of posting matter? They said it all depends on what is working. Test different things. Are you guys sensing a little theme? We're going to keep ramping up a little bit because there's some different things that apply if you already have copyright strikes and some different strategies that I want to share. I asked, does a TikTok watermark need to be removed in order for your content to do better? And they said, we are not recommending that you remove the watermark. You can post whatever works. So whether it has the watermark or not, we welcome that content. I'm guessing in the future that will be an issue. I also asked, is there a benefit to recording in the app? And they said there is not currently an added benefit to recording in the app because they want content. So you can repurpose Reels and TikToks as long as you don't follow the issues I shared earlier. Then I asked, how does the viewership compare to Instagram Reels and TikTok? Are there projections for increasing viewership? And I quote from TikTok, we're seeing really high growth on this platform. We're expecting mega growth. My notes on this are, this is an early adopter situation, as long as YouTube Shorts is here to stay. Then I asked, what are the impacts of hashtags in Shorts compared to other platforms? They said it's going to help determine where the audience is coming from. So if people are searching for specific hashtags, which people do on YouTube, one of the big things that you're going to discover is that having the right hashtags is going to make you indexed in the right content categories there. Then I asked, what are your long-term plans for monetization? I would love to hear about this. And they said the Shorts Fund is the first step towards monetization. We're going to actively grow different channels for monetization. Is anyone nerding out about this, by the way? Comment below if you're like, dang, this is so cool, because these are some really fun notes from a call with YouTube. I have fun asking these kind of questions. One thing that I got is if you don't have a YouTube channel currently, you are welcome to create a channel that's just YouTube Shorts. And it could be a good way to start, but keep in mind if your entire channel is just Shorts, the audience is going to be looking for content that is specifically short form. So I personally am testing out mixing both and seeing what happens. I don't get the sense that it's going to ruin your channel. If anything, I personally think that people oftentimes like variety. So I think it's not a bad thing to do both, okay? They also shared it's not necessary to hashtag Shorts in the title, especially if you have access to Shorts, which not everyone has access to. It's been rolled out in different timelines to different groups of people and different audiences. And then this is a really important note. If you have a current YouTube channel that has had strikes in the past, so if you have any copyright strikes, you will have issues with your shorts being indexed. That is super important to keep in mind. So if you have any copyright strikes currently on your YouTube channel, you are going to want to create a separate channel for your YouTube shorts, or else they will not be indexed and you will not get the full benefit of this early adopter functionality, or rather feature that could potentially support a lot of us. Now, I want to hear what questions you have about YouTube shorts in the chat, because hopefully I have another opportunity to talk to YouTube sometime in the next quarter. And if I do, I want to ask all of your questions. So feel free to ask them in the chat, because I'm going to absolutely compile them and ask them all of the questions that they have. I will catch you guys later. Bye for now.